So it's just, if you don't mind just telling us like how you actually became homeless and what your situation is, how you became this.
Pretty much what it was is I used to work all the time. I used to work for a company that was a shop fitter, so we would be up and down the country all the time. Basically, I had a 3-bedroom house with a garage, lovely house. My house was mortgaged up. The company I worked for went bankrupt, ended up not keeping up with my mortgage payments, lost my house completely, got repossessed. I've got no family. I mean, I tried to apply for a hostel, obviously couldn't get in because they tried to tell us to get rid of my dog, which I've point blank refused. So now I'm on the council's emergency list for accommodation, and obviously that's hard. I mean, I've been on the streets and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's just. So, what would you say? This is a daft question. Apart from the obvious, I know. Did you say you had accommodation somewhere to go, like sofa surfing? But what's the?
I sofa surf through the week. There's 2 or 3 different addresses I go to, but I've still got to come out through the day for to try and obviously get me money for my food. I've got my dog to look after. Do you know? I mean, I've got all sorts that I've got to get. So that's how I sort of struggle. I've got to come out and beg through the day. Basically, if I didn't beg, I wouldn't survive. I wouldn't eat.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's just what would you say is the hardest part about being homeless? Do you think? Like,
I think it's probably the way some people treat you once they're drunk. And I mean, it can be. It's a nice town through the day, but of a night time, once everyone's had a drink, and I mean, like they're spitting at you. I mean, I've had some of my friends being urinated on, and it's not a very nice position to be in. It's horrible.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, as I say, I have interviewed a couple of other people, and it's actually quite shocking how people treat the homeless. I've heard stories like what you've just said there.
They treat you like absolute scum.
Yeah.
They would probably rather walk up and stroke a street rat, some of them, than even talk to you.
Yeah, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. No one should put up with that. I've seen it myself up there, Haymarket, just 15, 16-year-olds like just taking the mick out of people.
Aye, they do, and they treat you like absolute scum.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're still a human being, and they don't seem to think that though. They just think, show off to me mates, I'll bully them. They don't realise that that actually causes you like psychological damage.
Oh yeah, I mean, as if things aren't even hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, why?
But
I just
that's
don't get
what
why you would do that to somebody, whether you
Aye.
think they are using whatever, or you just no one deserves really to be treated like that.
Exactly, and I mean, you don't deserve to be treated like that. As if, like exactly like you said, you hit the nail on the head. You've got enough problems going on without worrying what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
If I got a job, right, what am I supposed to do with me dog? Am I supposed to tie her up outside all day for 8 to 10 hours? I wouldn't. How could I? I mean, that's just sheer cruelty. I couldn't. But I mean, I've had my dog 12 years. How could I get rid of something I've had since she was 8 weeks old, ball of fluff? Now I've had her 12 years. She couldn't go with nobody else. So, I mean, what can I do? I'm stuck either way.
Yeah. Some guy was saying about the police. They know everyone's situation. They
Honestly,
know the police know of certain people who are legit homeless, but it's just a case of getting people away, like scuttering away.
That's
Just as
what
long
they
as people
do.
can't see you, then
And you know what it is?
it's not an issue.
Right, the police, they'll move you on, they'll harass you, and what they'll do is they know that you're only moving around the corner, they know you're not moving that far, but they just walk around and it's absolutely horrible. You're like, where are you actually even supposed to go? Even though they know you're only going around the corner, oh well, we've got to be seen moving you on.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's their policy.
Yeah, I mean, some guy, it was actually quite sad to hear, but it's understandable. Some guy up the Haymarket says, like, the only thing that I feel that is free to me since I've been homeless is the air that I breathe. I just constantly get moved. Nowhere I can go,
you're
nothing.
Right. And honestly, it is, and it is absolutely horrible. Absolute horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
See what winds me up though, right? Is see if you go up the West End, Gateshead, anywhere, there's rows upon rows of empty houses, and you're like, why can't you get into them? But I mean, at the end of the day, with me being the way I am, if you were a landlord and I went up for an appointment to view a flat, would you give it to me like this?
Yeah.
Looking the way I am?
I mean,
Thinking he's homeless. Would you house that?
I have heard of a couple of landlords that do like house, but I think the statistic or something I seen, it was only like 20% of everyone just turns you if you put homeless down, you even if you don't look like a certain way, like if you put homeless down, they just turn you away. It's not enough.
They would, because they think you're just a down and out, and that's the way everyone treats you. But how could I even look for a flat? I mean, you see my phone, it's a £10 basher phone. I mean, I can't even get the internet on it to look for a flat.
Yeah, everything's online. It's just like
it's all online. How can I can't even go to a library.
I was just going to say, in a library isn't going to, as soon as you walk to the door, a library is just going to, I'm sorry, we can't.
Exactly. And I've got the dog.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed in the library. How can I even job search? How can I even flat search when I'm not allowed anywhere?
Yeah. Have you heard of the People's Kitchen up in, have you been there? Or?
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't get a meal of a night sometimes, and that is a lovely charity.
Yeah, I am hoping to catch them and get a couple of questions. I did volunteer up there, and they do a lot of good with a lot of hot food and stuff like that.
No, and they do, and if they didn't do that, there'd be a lot of homeless people in Newcastle who wouldn't get a meal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There's also street paws as well, which obviously homeless people who have got a dog, street paws is a good charity because they get all that flea and they get all that worm and they get a monthly health check. And if it wasn't for like the likes of street paws charities, the dog wouldn't even probably get flea'd or worm, because I can't afford 20 quid for worming tablets, but they give them out. So obviously that's the maintenance of my best friend.
I'm getting in your way of eating your pizza. I'm sorry. In your experience, what would you say is the best way someone could possibly help you? Is it giving you money, or if a person is worried about like do you appreciate like food and things like that, or is there maybe other things?
Food, but even just a general conversation. I mean, it's even just nice to talk to people. Not a lot of people that actually stop and talk to you. I mean, even just a bit of conversation, that can stop somebody getting depressed, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to just say as well, I don't know the person or whoever, but obviously there was a woman speaking here before, but some guy had walked past and I heard him murmuring and just stop and speak to a homeless person. Why would you bother do it?
And it's just why would you even bother wasting your time with them? Yeah. And that, you get a lot of that, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole point of doing this, so I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything that maybe you would suggest that could possibly be done? Have you got any ideas maybe on what you feel you could need help more with?
I mean, to be honest, I think if there was members of the council, alright, I think if there was members of the council who actually walked around and talked to homeless people and described how you could even get a bond for a flat, or how you can even set about sort of getting back to normality, how you can, like, obviously get a bond or blah blah, because I mean, flats, right, they're 400, 500 pound a month, right? You got to see a flat, you've got to put 2 months down, and where is a homeless person going to get £900? I mean, there should be more charity help like that.
I know that, I think there is a place called Crisis.
Right, and Crisis actually that's a really good charity. That does actually help you, whereas Crisis is probably the best one to go to be honest.
So I'm actually learning about them. Do you mind explain? Do you have any idea maybe what they actually do help you with and things like that?
Help you with everything. Whether it's getting into a hostel, getting into a flat, whether you're depressed, whether you need food, whether you need toiletries, they actually help you with quite a lot.
Yeah, so that is another place as well as People's Kitchen that I do hope to
There's
get to speak
People's
with.
Kitchen in Crisis.
Is that all there is? Maybe would you say in Newcastle, or is the
I'd say they're the better
best,
ones.
yeah.
I'd say they're the better ones.
Yeah. Right, mate. I appreciate you taking the time. Honestly, thank you very much for
Not a
talking.
problem,
I really do
honestly,
appreciate it.
As long as it's going to help people out at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.